Right now, social media is exploding with new discussions about Jeffrey Epstein and the secretive gatherings that were mentioned repeatedly in his emails. One name that keeps being pulled into these conversations is Ellen DeGeneres.
You guys are coming to my house. I will tell you over the phone the truth, so you guys to save the trip, and I will.
Online rumors claim that certain locations tied to Epstein allegedly contained locked rooms or storage areas holding sensitive documents and unusual materials. Authorities have never publicly confirmed most of these claims, but the mystery surrounding them has fueled endless speculation. Because of that speculation, some internet users have begun dragging DeGeneres into the conversation as well. A few viral posts even claim she is trying to avoid attention by staying overseas.
So, Mr. President, we are looking at an image of a portrait that is looks to be you, Mr. President, in this blue dress. Can you describe this painting? And
he doesn't need to describe the painting. You just gave him a picture. What's your question?
My question is, are you familiar with this painting? Have you ever seen it in person?
In past public statements, as in 2017 speeches and interviews, you described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy theory, alleging you and others ran a child.
That curiosity is when people started connecting dots, whether those dots actually belong together or not. The situation became louder because Epstein had documented ties to Prince Andrew, a scandal that deeply affected the British royal family. So when DeGeneres spent time in England, conspiracy-focused communities online began speculating about possible connections. Around the same time, older interview clips of Justin Bieber started circulating again online.
To get married, and how many kids would you want to have?
So, like 17, so.
Would you rather have to be naked on stage? Answer Justin Bieber.
I have like little girl fans. I can't.
Imagine there was no laws. Imagine it wasn't like weird like that. Justin Bieber. I will squeeze your face.
No, I will. No.
If you had to date one of us, 5.
In those clips, a teenage Bieber appears in interviews where he seems uncomfortable with some of the questions adults were asking him. At the time, many viewers assumed it was simply awkward celebrity humor. But when people watch those interviews again today, some interpret them differently. Social media users often re-examine past footage through a new lens, searching for moments that might suggest something deeper.
Being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back.
During Bieber's early rise to fame, he appeared several times on The Ellen DeGeneres Show. DeGeneres publicly supported the young singer and helped introduce him to a huge daytime audience. However, in hindsight, some viewers now claim certain interviews looked uncomfortable for the young performer. Critics online have also pointed out that DeGeneres was socially connected with several major figures in entertainment, including Sean Combs, often known as Diddy.
What time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though.
Uh-huh.
It'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then No, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them.
Another detail frequently mentioned online is that DeGeneres once lived in Montecito, a wealthy coastal community known for famous residents such as Oprah Winfrey and Prince Harry. Elite neighborhoods often include influential people from politics, media, and entertainment. On its own, that means very little. But when discussions about Epstein's network appear, people online sometimes focus on overlapping social circles. It's important to note that DeGeneres has never been charged with crimes related to Epstein, and no court ruling connects her directly to his case.
Reading on the gridiron between former President George W. Bush and Ellen DeGeneres to bring it into sharp focus.
It may not seem like a big deal for a celebrity to attend a football game, but I never leave my house, so it is a big deal.
Ellen and her wife, Portia de Rossi, were invited to sit in the private box of Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Former President George W. Bush and his wife Laura were also there.
One moment that previously stirred controversy around DeGeneres happened in 2019 when she and Portia de Rossi were photographed sitting beside George W. Bush and Laura Bush at a football game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. The images went viral almost instantly. For years, DeGeneres had been viewed as a progressive voice in entertainment, while Bush's political positions had often been criticized by liberal audiences.
Don't share her beliefs.
So I want to talk about something that happened this weekend. I know it's Tuesday. Sometimes I like to ruminate on things all day Monday so that on Tuesday you hear about it. This weekend I went to Dallas for the Cowboys game. And thanks. But during the game, they showed a shot of George and me laughing together. And so people were upset. They thought, why is a gay Hollywood liberal sitting next to a conservative Republican president? Didn't even notice I'm holding the brand new iPhone 11. But a lot of people were mad, and they did what people do when they're mad. They tweet, but here's one tweet that I loved. This person says, Ellen and George Bush together makes me have faith in America again. And exactly. Here's the thing. I'm friends with George Bush. In fact, I'm friends with a lot of people who don't share the same beliefs that I have. We're all different, and I think that we've forgotten that that's okay that we're all different. For instance, I wish people wouldn't wear fur. I don't like it, but I'm friends with people who wear fur. And I'm friends with people who are furry, as a matter of fact. I have friends who should tweeze more. And but just because I don't agree with someone on everything doesn't mean that I'm not going to be friends with them. When I say be kind to one another, I don't mean only the people that think the same way that you do. I mean be kind to everyone.
When the criticism started spreading online, DeGeneres addressed it publicly on her show. She explained that she believes it is possible to be friends with people who hold different political views. Some viewers appreciated the message of tolerance. Others felt disappointed, saying they expected stronger political boundaries. That moment added to the broader perception that DeGeneres moved comfortably among powerful figures from many different backgrounds.
You're not the biggest guy in the world, but you're not a pussy by any means. What was so bad about Ellen?
You know, it was psychological. It was like this thing where, you know, we go into the writer's room, we get to work at 9 a.m., and then we go right into her office. She had this big office, right. And we'd sit around, you know, there was like overstuffed chairs and like leather couches. Very cool. We sit there and drink cappuccino, and it was like a loving environment until like I remember one time I made a joke about Justin Bieber, and she goes, you know, I love Justin Bieber. And it was like, oh, so nobody else can have a different feeling about Justin Bieber because you like him? And then she iced me. And then every joke I would tell for 10 days, she would literally not react and look away and say, all right, who's got something else?
Wow.
And so it was this thing where she would push you out of the circle and then pull you back into the, and when she pulled you back into the circle, oh my God, hand on the leg, laughing at what you were saying. And so for me, it wasn't that big a deal.
Right.
But for other people that, you know, had mommy and daddy issues, and she, you know, when you're working 14-hour days and she's the boss, like it becomes a very powerful dynamic. That person's approval starts to meet, especially when people are getting fired constantly.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just being ostracized from the circle. It was genuine fear for your job. And so
in November 2024, DeGeneres and DeRossi again relocated temporarily to the United Kingdom. By that point, the talk show host had already ended her long-running daytime program and was keeping a lower profile. Then, in August 2025, new discussions about workplace culture on her show resurfaced. A former writer, Greg Fitzsimmons, spoke during a podcast interview and described difficult experiences behind the scenes.
I just finished testifying in front of the House Oversight Committee. I did it for two reasons. First, I love my country, including our Constitution. And America was built on the idea that no person is above the law, even presidents, especially presidents, and that we should all live under the same set of rules. This kind of democracy requires every person to play their part. And I hope that by being here today, we can bring ourselves just a little further away from the brink and back to being a country where we can disagree civilly and we can search for truth and justice, and that it outweighs the partisan urge to score points.
Again, workplace complaints are not the same as criminal allegations. But public perception can shift quickly when controversies pile up. At the same time, headlines connected to the Epstein case continued spreading across Washington. One of the most talked about names appearing in the newly discussed documents was Bill Clinton.
Very, very close to Jeffrey Epstein. She actually wrote a letter to Bill Clinton in 1995 that he should meet Jeffrey Epstein and talk to him about currency stabilization. So this is something that's been going on for a long time, and he's been very involved with this particular family, which it goes without saying has extremely deep ties to the state of Israel for an extremely long period.
And she said that her friend was here. He was the king of America, and he was here with his friend Bill Clinton, and he owned his own island in the Caribbean, and his friend owned Victoria's Secret, and would I like to meet him, because it would be good, obviously, for my modeling career. So I went to the restaurant where they were, and it was Epstein, Clinton, Kevin Spacey, and about 3 or 4 other people. It was a small group. And they all stood up while they were having dinner and shook my hand. And it was, and Bill Clinton actually held onto my hand for a very long time. It was very weird. And then they also invited me to actually go watch Clinton's speech. I was like, I obviously wanted to go watch the speech, and I did. And what I did notice was Kevin Spacey was filming all the students in the hall. And then after the speech, we went back to the hotel, and then they looked at my modeling portfolio. And the girls were sitting there, and Bill Clinton walked past and witnessed the whole modeling casting. And then Epstein looked at my modeling portfolio and said he thought I'd be perfect for Victoria's Secret, and he wanted to bring me over. And then, after that, his office started phoning, and Leslie Groff arranged to get me a visa and to get me to New York, and I was there within 3 weeks. But what I've started to realize is it was more like a syndicate, a club, because the properties, they were all very different in style. It was almost like they didn't all belong to one person.
Images circulating online allegedly showed Clinton relaxing in a hot tub and swimming pool alongside unidentified individuals whose faces were blurred out. As always happens online, social media users began analyzing every frame.
He said he was
the
invited
photos
by the
spread
Sultan
rapidly,
to stay at a
raising
hotel
questions
while
about when they were
working on
taken and
humanitarian
who else
efforts
might have been
connected
present.
Do you recall the details of this photo, or recall the photo being taken?
No, I don't think I ever knew the photo was taken.
Okay, and for those who can't see it, it's a photo of you in a hot tub. There's a person next to you here. Do you remember where it was taken? Where was it taken?
I'm almost sure that this taken, I think there's an adjacent photograph, which you probably have, that if people saw it, they would feel that someone was trying to con them showing this picture. But anyway, this picture was taken in Brunei. And we flew one night on a trip to Asia, the last very long leg.
You said we, who is that including?
Well, my TEL team that was working
Thank you.
on the AIDS issue, and Mr. Epstein was there, and Miss Maxwell. But anyway, we got to the end of the flight was Brunei. It's a tiny place, but a very wealthy one.
During testimony connected to the broader Epstein investigation, Clinton stated clearly that he had no knowledge of Epstein's criminal activities at the time of their interactions. He also denied engaging in any inappropriate behavior connected to the images circulating online.
The record, there's another picture that also shows this as part of a larger pool area. Do you all have that so that he can refresh his recollection with respect to that?
You should have it. It's quite enlightening. If you watch this,
Yes, it's noted.
It'll
Yes.
give you a different feel.
Thank you.
Okay.
We don't have it with us right now.
Okay,
We do.
thanks. I just wanted to make sure he knew the
And so were there other people in that pool or hot tub with you as well?
I don't think there's anybody in the hot tub. I didn't forgotten that there was anybody in the hot tub, but it was big, but it was about.
Well,
He's asking in the pool
It appears
area.
this photo, there's a girl over here, or there's someone.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
But he's also asking in the pool area were there other
Yes,
individuals.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so you don't know?
No, and then there were other people in the pool.
Okay, so do you remember were they under 18? Would you
No.
know? No.
Were they part of your traveling party, he's asking you?
Yes, they were, I think. I think everybody there was part of our party. It was late at night or late-ish, and I also believe that there was a Secret Service agent there at the other end of the pool.
Okay, and was this in public?
No, it was a hotel room, and the Sultan wanted us to stay there, and the water of this big pool was on the same floor that there were several suites, and so we went out, I swam around, I sat in the hot tub for 5 minutes, or whatever it was, and I got up and went to bed.
And then I have to ask this, did you engage in any activity
No.
with this person? Great. Thank you.
Clinton acknowledged that he had flown on Epstein's private plane multiple times in the early 2000s. According to his testimony, those trips were connected to humanitarian work tied to the Clinton Foundation. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton said she did not personally know Epstein, although public records have continued to fuel discussion about who interacted with him during that time period.
They thought she might even be president, right? And then after, she lost to Trump in 2016, it dried up essentially. But also, in addition to the other philanthropies, you have the Clinton Global Initiative, which was allegedly Epstein's idea. According to his defense lawyers, he was part of the core team that developed the concept for the Clinton Global Initiative, which is kind of like a Clinton brokered Davos, World Economic Forum style meeting, and they passed money around to Ghislaine Maxwell's Terramar, for example, among other things. And so Epstein was obviously very sought out in the not-profit world, arguably because he was very good at tax shelters, and a lot of these billionaires want to get tax write-offs or not have to pay money in tax. And so setting up these philanthropies the right way, when Epstein's background, going back to his time at Bear Stearns, was in tax evasion, obviously I think that points to why they were so interested in having him be involved in setting up their nonprofits. And there's also the fact that
the story continued growing when reports surfaced about tense moments during Hillary Clinton's deposition. At one point, she reportedly declined to answer certain questions and ended the session abruptly, which only increased online speculation.
There are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm
can
done
occur?
with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
So I would like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was.
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well.
I would like to take a break at this
Yeah,
moment. I'd like to
I'm
have
done.
Documents related to Epstein have referenced a wide range of public figures, including both Clinton and Donald Trump. However, appearing in documents or contact lists does not automatically indicate wrongdoing, and neither individual has been formally charged with crimes related to Epstein's actions.
Elon Musk. He's always denied any close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, but they exchanged numerous emails trying to arrange a visit for Musk to Epstein's island in the Caribbean. In one of them, Musk goes on to write this: "What day, night will be the wildest party on your island?" Now, Musk has addressed those allegations directly on X. He wrote, "No one pushed harder than me to have the Epstein files released, and I'm glad that has finally happened. I had very little correspondence with Epstein and declined repeated invitations to go to his island or fly on his Lolita Express, but was well aware that some email correspondence with him could be misinterpreted and used by detractors to smear my name. I don't care about that, but what I do care about is that we at least attempt to prosecute those who committed serious crimes with Epstein, especially regarding heinous exploitation of underage girls." So this is the fullest picture we have.
The conversation expanded even further when emails surfaced showing communication between Epstein and Elon Musk. Other references included Musk's brother Kimball Musk, which again fueled speculation across social media platforms.
First-year university student and part-time model when she was ensnared by Epstein in Cape Town.
I just turned 20 and it just seemed like my dreams were all coming true. Because, our family was struggling financially and I just really wanted to try and make a difference for my family. And I was dreaming of doing something like modeling.
Her first trip out of South Africa was to New York, where she says she abruptly found herself on the way to the Caribbean, sat next to him on his private jet to Epstein Island with the women he used to recruit her.
Basically, as the plane took off, he started forcefully touching me in between my legs. And I just freaked out and I suddenly realized, oh my God, my family aren't going to see me again. These people might kill me. I got such a fright. It was such a huge changing thing for me. And I suddenly realized I had to just be nice and be friendly because I realized that I was in great danger.
And he's a
protecting you, and the other women
And
there.
they were laughing. Yeah, they saw and they just laughed. So I was really, really petrified. And, it really changed me, the whole thing, going through this. And I just didn't know what to do. And I just really thought that I was going to die.
Juliet wasn't the only victim.
At the center of all these debates are the alleged victims whose experiences have been described in disturbing detail over the years. Their testimonies remain a major part of the legal and investigative process surrounding Epstein's network. For critics, these stories raise difficult questions about how powerful figures maintain influence and how accountability works when wealth and connections are involved.
From the Justice Department, do you believe that's sufficient?
Thanks so much for having me, Caitlin. And the answer is no, it's not. They are not responding to the law. And at this point, I think it appears clearer and clearer every day that they are knowingly violating and willfully violating the law that we passed, that Donald Trump signed into law, requiring them to turn over every responsive document. And I want to be clear, just to clarify two things that I think you alluded to. One, Donald Trump is accused of assaulting a child in those memos that you mentioned. Two, that it's not just a few dozen documents that are not being turned over. Fully half of the documents that we're aware of, some 3 million documents, have not been turned over by the DOJ. They claim they fully responded, and yet we've found over and over again, and I can tell you that oversight Democratic staff have confirmed what you have found, that these documents are missing. They were not turned over, even though they were very clearly responsive to the questions that we asked. And this appears to be part of a very broad cover-up. And you may remember back to last May, when Pam Bondi reportedly told Donald Trump he was in the Epstein files. After that, there were a lot of reports that DOJ attorneys were being asked to go redact documents, to hide documents, to remove documents from the files that had Donald Trump's name. So we're definitely continuing to look at this, but it appears that the DOJ is willful.
At this point, only a few individuals, such as Prince Andrew, have faced direct legal consequences connected to Epstein's activities. Most documents released so far show communications or proposed meetings rather than criminal findings. Still, public trust has been shaken, and the debate is far from over. So what do you think happens next as more information continues to emerge? Share your thoughts in the comments below.